Hey guys, Clumsy here and welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator. OnAir Manager series with the Clumsy Airlines, we have a couple of new things. First and foremost, as you can see in front of us, brand new plane. We are flying today with the Bonanza G36 because I am going to feature two main mods today. I have been enjoying these immensely. First is the G36 improvement mod, and the other is the G1000 improvements. So all of these, as always, are in the mods list, and all of these are compatible with the latest patch 3 version 1.9.3.0. Alright, anyway, let's get going. And we are in a very different place today. We are actually somewhere in Japan. Miyakojima, Romeo Oscar Mike Yankee, and we have quite a flight ahead of us today. It's going to be a 170-mile journey, but since with the Bonanza we'll be flying a lot slower than with the TBM, so it will probably take longer, but don't worry, I'll cut to the interesting parts. Okay, so we are in a very small island here, Miyakojima. I'm not really familiar with the place, but let's see if we can find some nice sights, and then we'll be cruising over the ocean here, or the sea. Yeah, it looks like the sea. I'm not entirely sure this is completely legal, but I won't tell if you won't. And then we will be passing by Kerama. This is one of the handmade airports with the Japan update, and I want to see how it looks. Maybe we can do a touch and go, or circling around for a few seconds. We'll see. And then we'll head on over, join the ILS-05 arrival, or the approach rather, to our destination airport in Cadena. So that looks like a massive airport, 2 physical runways, 12,000 feet length each. So it looks pretty massive. Anyway, let's start, and let me go and start the flight as well in OnAir. Hopefully that gets detected properly. I also have something new. You might hear it. I won't spoil anything else, but I'll let you figure it out on your own for a few seconds before I at least spoil it. Start the sim. Let's hope that works. Alright, that looks pretty good so far. Okay, off we go. I can make that work at least. Track IR is enabled. Awesome. Okay, so as part of the G36 improvement, there have been so many fixes, so many adjustments with this plane. It comes with a super comprehensive checklist now, and for a GA plane, my goodness, it is as detailed as it can get. But I'll be skipping through that for now, just so in the essence of time. Hopefully it won't be that bad. So let's turn on the batteries and the alternator here. Oh, there's even an initializing system there. It's beacon. Oil pressure low. These annunciations are new. The bus is tied. That is new. So props, full forward, mixture, full forward. Throttle, full forward, and then turn on the fuel pump until fuel flow peaks.
Until you land and shut down the engines.
And then turn that off. Throttle to 1/2 inch open, and we can start the engine. Clear prop. Bit late there. There you go. Lower the RPM to around 1,000. And yes, we are starting on the runway because in this airport in particular, there is actually no ramp. So the only place to start is the runway. So I had to turn off the plane, and now we turn it on again. Otherwise, if you start the plane running and then you start on air, you get a problem. You get a deduction because you started with engines on, something along those lines. Now, do you notice something? We are facing 42 degrees, but the map is actually track up now. Is it obvious? Let me show you the default. That is north up. That is track up. So wherever you're facing, that's going to be right above. I'm more of a track up kind of guy, so this is perfect for me. We'll see how that works moving forward if there are other bugs, but that is part of the G1000 improvements mod. There's also the additional engine parameters, and this one I'm particularly interested in. Shows you the EGT and the CHT, exhaust gas temperature and cylinder head temperature. So many new details that we can fiddle around with later on. We'll see how that works. Okay, with the G1000 changes, you can also now finally set your unit of measure. I've set that to hectopascals. Where is that? Alt unit, there you go. Hectopascals. And then the other good thing is you can actually save this. This is auto-saved. So whenever you put in like the wind information, all of these are stored. So the next time you fly, all of these, the bearing one is enabled, the wind data is shown, the track up setting, the radio you set, all of those are stored for your next flight. So that is pretty amazing. Very realistic, very comfortable to use. Flight director, turn that on there, put that into nav mode, and we'll adjust the altitude later. Anyway, let's get our clearance here. Let's tune into, actually we've already tuned into 118.2, that is tower, so let's go ahead and request for clearance. Tower Bonanza 1 Charlie Lima, ready to copy IFR clearance.
Bonanza 1 Charlie Lima is cleared to Romeo Oscar Delta November as filed. Expect departure runway 04. Climb and maintain 4,000 feet.
4,000.
Expect higher clearances 2 minutes after departure. Departure on 125.0 squawk 3560.
Bonanza 1 Charlie Lima is cleared to Romeo Oscar Delta November as filed. Climb and maintain 4,000 feet. Expect higher clearances 2 minutes after departure. Departure on 125.0 squawk 3560.
Bonanza 1 Charlie Lima reback correct. QNH is 1013. Let us know when you're ready to taxi.
QNH is 1013 Bonanza 1 Charlie Lima.
The weather is not accurate, ignore that. Pilot to ETC is not able to get the weather consistent with Flight Simulator yet. Alright, so just for now press B. Everything is good. Do you guys notice anything? Any difference in the audio? Yes, I finally was able to add some radio effect into all the ATC voices so it sounds more realistic. So it is a bit advanced though. There is a guide on it in the mods list. But be warned, it's not for the faint of heart. You'll need to install a couple of applications. Voice meter, equalizer. It's for the hardcore guys. But if you're willing to put in the work, then that might just work for you. Alright. Can we just say that we're ready for takeoff? Ready for departure? Landing lights. Now, normally this plane, from what I've seen, takes off with flaps up, but with OnAir, they always want some flaps there, otherwise you get a warning. So we'll keep that there just for the sake of the points. Right. Tower Bonanza 1 Charlie Lima, ready for departure, runway 04.
Bonanza 1 Charlie Lima, winds are calm, cleared for takeoff. Runway 04 squawk 3560, maintain runway heading until above 1,100 feet, then turn left heading 348 to intercept course.
Ooh, that's a lot. Let's let him read that back.
Cleared for takeoff, runway 04 squawking 3560, maintain runway heading until above 1,100 feet, then left to 348 Bonanza 1 Charlie Lima.
Good. So we climb until 1,400, then we turn left 348 degrees. Parking brake is off. Let's do this. We should have some pretty good headwind component there basing on the windsock. In right rudder, as we have the natural tendency of the plane to kick to the left. And there you go, rotate. 73 knots is the rotation speed with flaps up.
Airborne time log.
With 1 notch of flaps, it's even earlier, I think 68 knots. And then our VY, our best rate of climb is 100 knots, I believe. So let's go ahead and put the flaps up here. Oh, and we actually have gears on this plane. Landing gear, so positive rate gear up. I always forget that. Good. Let's continue climbing here. Now it is much less powerful than a TBM, but I found that hand flying with this thing is real pleasurable, and it's very nice for the short flights. Okay, pitch down, pitch for 100 knots here for best rate of climb. We are still climbing till 1,400 before we turn to the left. So right now we're still, actually we're very far away from runway heading, huh? Should go back to 042 degrees. There you go, back to 042 degrees. Keep that there. You might also notice something that's new in the PFD, and that is amazing. I didn't even know the modders could do that. The working title team is such an amazing team when it comes to putting in all these details given all the limitations in the SDK. There you go, 1,400 feet. Turn left, 348 degrees. It's bank 25 degrees here. This is a nice small island that is completely filled with detail. I like it.
Bonanza 1 Charlie Lima contact Sekishima departure on 125.0. Enjoy your morning.
348 only, don't extend it. Say again for 1 Charlie Lima.
Bonanza 1 Charlie Lima contact Sekishima departure on 125.0. Enjoy your morning.
Departure on 125.0. Bonanza 1 Charlie Lima. So 348 and then intercept the flight plan like so, supposedly. Okay, that looks good. Switch to flight level change here. Trying to find flight level change. There it is. I always get lost there. Let's switch to departure. Departure Bonanza 1 Charlie Lima, climbing 4,000 feet.
Bonanza 1 Charlie Lima climb and maintain 4,000 feet. Bonanza 1 Charlie Lima, good morning. Squawk 3560.
I am squawking. Oh, the mode in Pilot to ATC isn't synchronized. So we'll have to
Bonanza 1
change
Charlie
that
Lima
manually.
radar contact.
There you go. Okay. Let's put in flight level change at 100 knots. There you go. Let's continue our climb here. Now at some point, I believe we should be setting RPM to 2,500. And sorry, I'm really going far away from the magenta line. That looks good. Manifold pressure, put that to 25 inches. Inches of mercury, is that the unit of measure? So that's the one I'm setting. RPM 2,500, manifold pressure 25.
Bonanza 1 Charlie Lima expedite climb to 4,000 feet.
Sorry. Expedite climb to 4,000 feet. Bonanza 1 Charlie Lima. But I noticed that's weird. Let's zoom out here. There you go. Okay. That looks good. Why are we not climbing? Because I probably need to work with the mixture.
Bonanza
There we
1
go.
Charlie Lima climb and maintain 9,000 feet.
Alright. Climb and maintain 9,000. Bonanza 1 Charlie Lima. Climbing this, doing this manually. Flight level change again here. Still not on autopilot, still hand flying. That's why I'm all away from the magenta line. But this is actually quite nice. I love those clouds. That just looks so natural, doesn't it? Like you can almost touch it. Beautiful. Okay, which waypoint are we headed to next? Kachu. Kachu is that one. So if I enable autopilot here, that should work now. There you go. Let the plane take care of it. Let's go and put that to 100 knots, flight level change. There you go. And then for leaning purposes, for climbing, we want to be rich of peak. So we can actually go here and we can look at the temperatures, 803 degrees on the EGT. And we can work with the mixture lever here. So we should see, as we lean the engine, you see the peak, you see it climbing. Is that actually lightning? But where? It looks pretty clear here. Oh, that's scary. Okay. So it's 800, it's climbing, I'm leaning the mixture, pulling on the mixture knob, still climbing. So the peak is around 856, and now as I lean it more, the temperature is falling. So around 840 is the peak, 850. So we go rich of that for a bit. So around this one, just mixing it up a bit. But with this kind of instrumentation, it's so easy to see, so easy to know at which mixture lever you should really be at, and it makes the world of difference. Now that being said, our climb is not the best rate here, but I guess on this kind of plane you can't expect like similar performance like what we've been used to with the TBM. This is more for the shorter flights, more for sightseeing, so you can travel slower. Let's increase the range there. Yeah, I love that track up. Look at that. How about you guys? Are you more a north up or track up kind of people? I really like this. I'm more used to this. It does make it harder to know where you are in terms of the direction, like how many miles away are you from the airport and in which direction are you. So I'll have to look here, look there. Oh, I am southwest of the airport. It's a bit harder to tell, but aside from that, it's good. Now with patch 3 they did add lightning, but it seems like a bit excessive in my point of view, because would you really expect lightning with these kinds of clouds? These look pretty harmless to me. I don't know, but maybe that's a thing. You guys let me know. That's where we came from. Wait a minute. I'm confused now. I think that's where we came from. Oh, super cool. With patch 3, they did improve again the water though. Water looks good again with the white stuff in there, like for the waves and the wind effect. It doesn't look just like a white piece of marble, so good job there. Ooh. That's freaky. Well, that's bugged. Okay, they're gone again. That's a freaky situation. I don't know what happened there. Anyway, we're continuing our climb here. But what I wanted to point out, and you probably guys noticed it already, what is that ball doing? What do you call it technically? I think it's the flight path angle or something, but it basically tells you where the plane is going. And it's perfect for like crosswind situations like this, because even though you are facing this way, you're actually tracking or headed, or yeah, you're going a different direction based on the wind. So that tells you, even if you are pitched this up, because of the angle of attack and everything, you're actually climbing at that rate only, and you are moving ever so slightly to the right because of the winds. So that's going to be perfect, especially for landing in a crosswind situation, because you can simply align the ball with the runway. And the real G1000s have this, those with synthetic vision. Speaking of synthetic vision, you can also even turn that off, like so, but also the ball would disappear. So yeah, that's one more addition to the G1000 improvements. And I must say, it's really taking shape, my goodness. I like it. Now, the manifold pressure, I think, I'm not sure if we can just keep this full throttle the entire way. What is the right?
Bonanza 1 Charlie Lima, contact Naho Center on 123.9er. Have a good one.
Center on 123.9er, Bonanza 1 Charlie Lima. I love the new frequencies. They sound more natural, don't they? Even if they are synthesized voices. Because of that radio effect, they actually sound a bit more natural now. Don't know about you guys, but I really like it. 123.9er, if I got that right. Switch. Center, good morning. Bonanza 1 Charlie Lima, climbing 9,000 feet.
Bonanza 1 Charlie Lima, good morning. Radar contact. QNH is 1009er.
QNH is 1009er, Bonanza 1 Charlie Lima. Oh, we are getting a synchronized weather for a change. That's rare. Not perfectly, it's close enough. Cool. Right, so I'll keep on climbing, guys. We're almost at our cruising altitude. Yeah, and yes, this plane does not have pressurization, so I don't want to go too high up. It might get harder to breathe, so I'll be staying at 9,000. But it's actually nice. This way we get pretty close to the clouds and we can still see stuff below. So I'll keep it here and I'll bring you guys back when there's something cool, okay? Oh yes, I'll bring you back when we are at cruising altitude, because we will be leaning the engine. That's going to be amazing. Okay, we've been cruising for a few minutes. We are actually almost halfway there, and we're still getting lightnings randomly, but I think with these kinds of clouds it's more expected. We can hear them, definitely the thunder. Anyway, so I wanted to focus on the leaning. I just finished leaning my engine, but it's super cool. I've been watching videos on this. But it's a very nice concept to save up on fuel and to preserve the longevity of the engine, even though that's not really implemented here. But let's bring back the mixture forward. Okay, so currently we're somewhere rich of peak. That means the peak temperature of the EGT, we're somewhere beyond that. We are rich. That means the mixture is in forward position. As we pull the mixture back, that EGT will climb. You can see it. I'm pulling back on the mixture bit by bit. The EGT is climbing. At some point, it will peak out. That is the peak that we are referring to. So still pulling back, pulling back, pulling back, pulling back, and there. That's the peak. Now normally you don't stay here, but this is not simulated in the sim anyway, because that's the most unhealthy spot for the engine. So that's the peak. To go lean off peak, you just pull back lower to around 15 degrees Celsius, I guess. So let's put that at around 825, somewhere around that temperature. Now we are lean off peak, and that is, there's a bit of debate on that, whether to go rich of peak or lean of peak. But for cruising, lean of peak at this point would lower your fuel flow so it will save up on fuel, and it will be very friendly for the temperatures. So the CHT here is 187, that's the cylinder head, and the cooler that is, the better, because that means the cylinders are not being punished with the heat as much. I think initially it was at 200 degrees, and at given time it will cool down. So that is pretty amazing. Now this one I haven't been able to make it work, but ideally that would allow you to pick which cylinder. Like this engine, we have 6 cylinders, and right now it's only selecting cylinder 1. So the temperature readout here is from the first cylinder, but you can see the temperatures are quite varying across all those. And I guess the idea is to pick the hottest one. That's what I would think, at least. In this case, cylinder 1 is okay, so I guess we don't really need that. Yeah, that's a nice addition to the entire immersive appeal. And even though the actual engine breaking down and the fuel flow is there, oh, there's the lightning, but the engine breaking down doesn't really put in place, so we don't really experience it that much. It's not that important, but still, it's nice to role play these things, right? And with that kind of visualization, it's so easy to lean it, not anymore just relying on fuel flow, which is always a very sketchy thing, right? But yes, let's continue the cruise, and I will bring you guys back when we're closer to what is that airport, Kerama, if I remember correctly. Yes, that one. Romeo Oscar Kilo Romeo. Catch you guys in a bit. We are getting close. We're actually entering I think a class Bravo airspace here, but since we have an IFR flight, it's fine. But that means I cannot just simply cancel IFR, unfortunately. And that means we're a bit limited when it comes to our sightseeing options, at least for this flight. What I did though was I requested a new altitude from air traffic control. I requested 7,000, and that's why we are descending right now. Autopilot seems to be working good so far. I think the G1000 team, working title is their group name. They're the same guys behind the CJ4 mod, the Citation CJ4. And yeah, it's looking pretty good so far. The autopilot is good. Now the real test later is going to be the ILS approach on the runway, because right now there is no approach that is set up yet. And I tested this for the TBM. With patch 3, I was hoping that the approach, loading the approach, has been fixed. You know, that problem. You know, that problem of doing a 180, going back to the previous waypoint when you load an approach. Unfortunately, that's still there. So it's a bit of a shame. But yeah, maybe here in the G1000 mod it's fixed. We'll see. We will try it out. Anyway, let's go and lean the engine here, because as you change your power setting, you change your altitude, things will change as well. So let's look for the peak. That's the peak, around 850. So let's put in around 835. Somewhere around that point should be good enough for lean of peak. Okay? And when you get used to this leaning, it should take only a matter of seconds, but since I'm still new, I really don't have that much experience yet. I'll have to get used to it. Let's tune in some VORs here for additional guidance. We are going to... Now there is a VOR right at our destination airport in Cadena. 112.0. Let me have a look. 112.0 indeed. Okay, let's track that. I'll put that in nav 2, because in nav 1 we will be plugging in the ILS later. So 112.0 here. There we go. Cadena has been detected. Let's put in bearing 2. There it is, 56 miles away from the airport. And in terms of the ILS, let's also tune that in. The ILS is, let me see, ILS 05 would have 109.7 frequency. And if you're wondering where I'm getting all these frequencies, that's part of Little Nav Map. So you see it in the map here. You mouse over it and you get all those frequencies. So the Vortac 112.0 and the ILS here, ILS runway 05, frequency 109.7. Even have the identifier India Kilo Delta November is what we should be getting. But we'll see. Well, let's plug that in first. 109.7. I doubt we'll be getting it as early as now. We are still a far ways off. Maybe when we're 20 miles away from the airport, maybe that will pop up, but for now, nothing yet. Okay, anyway, bring you guys back when we are closer to that airport. I always forget the name, the handcrafted one. I doubt we'll be able to see much though, so sorry about that, but we'll make it up for it next time. Maybe we'll do a VFR flight in this area. You guys let me know. Land ho, finally. Seeing water for the last 30-40 minutes has been a bit sad, but finally we get to see some land. In reality, this plane might not be legally allowed to fly over waters, because I would expect you would need to be pretty high up in order to fly above water, open water that much, just in case. So in engine failure, you can glide your way to land. But
Bonanza 1 Charlie
creative
Lima,
freedom.
contact Kadena approach on 135.9er. Have a good morning.
Approach on 135.9er, Bonanza 1 Charlie Lima. Okay, let's tune that first before I bring you guys back. 135.9er. Approach, good morning. Bonanza 1 Charlie Lima, 7,000 feet. Bonanza 1 Charlie Lima, 7,000 feet. Can they not hear me? That's interesting. Let's have our co-pilot read that.
Bonanza 1 Charlie Lima at 7,000 feet.
Anyway, the airport should be...
Bonanza 1 Charlie Lima,
Oh,
good
there we go.
morning. Radar contact. Turn right heading 067 vectors to the ILS approach for runway 05 left at Kadena to maintain 7,000 feet.
Heading 067 vectors to the ILS approach for runway 05 left. Maintain 7,000 feet. Bonanza 1 Charlie Lima.
Bonanza 1 Charlie Lima, turn right heading 067.
Oh, that's a bit of party pooper. Fine, fine, fine. So let's go to heading mode here. The plane will start turning to the right. Unfortunately, that means we won't be able to see Karama. Well, maybe we'll see it from above. There it is. It's not very much a very nice sight from this high up. Maybe it's still loading in. Let's give it some time. But actually what I wanted to test was if I select an approach, we've been assigned ILS 05. I cannot even look for it. Well, that's bad. Select approach. Yeah. This might be the default G1000
turn right
problem.
heading 072.
072, Bonanza 1 Charlie Lima.
Bonanza 1 Charlie Lima, you were garbled. Please say again.
Never mind. Yeah, it looks like this flight plan is bugged. Let's try that one more time. If we select an arrival, there is no arrival here. But if we select an approach, there should be something here. So yeah, it looks like that doesn't work. Fine. Okay, We'll make do. Where's the airport? Now we're past it. Looks pretty promising though. I think I'll do a flight there because I think those islands look very nice. Let's do a VFR flight here in the next episode. Just enjoy the scenery. Maybe we can start from Cadena, the airport we're going to, and we'll just fly low here. Enjoy these islands. Yeah, sounds like a plan. Man, the visuals in this sim. Beautiful. Alright, so what we'll do instead is we'll plug in manually. There we go, 109.7. That's the ILS that we plugged in a while ago. That is working. That is getting tracked, although we don't get the DME yet. This is the chart that we are following. 109.7, that's correct. And that's the identifier, correct? India Kilo Delta November. Now, ATC is giving us vectors, so we're not really following the waypoints exactly. That means we should be fine to switch already the HSI. Oh, this is even an option. The G1000 improvement, cool. The CDI, there you go, that's what I'm looking for. And then the course on Lock 1 should be 055.
Bonanza 1 Charlie Lima, turn left heading 067.
Turn left heading 067, Bonanza 1 Charlie Lima. Okay, just turning left and right a bit, doing finer adjustments. But yeah, the course itself is locked still. That is the sim limitation, I think. Not one, this one. So you can't really change the course on an ILS approach, which is weird, but fine, because the one in the chart says 055 degrees and it's hard-coded here at 056, so not that bad. Now in terms of altitude, there are a couple of restrictions. 6,000 at Jax, we're past Jax already. 3,000 at Eblier, so we should be starting our descent now, but we haven't been given instructions by ATC yet. And then 2,000 is our final approach fix. Now in terms of frequency, tower I think is 134.1 based on the chart, so let's plug that in. We'll probably get handed over in a bit. The glide slope is way below us now, so it seems like we should be descending. They did tell us to maintain 7,000 feet. Okay, so maybe we'll catch up later. That's fine. We'll make it work. That looks good. Everything is okay there. We'll see how we move with these instruments in a bit because I'm not really that familiar with this plane yet. I think this is only my second or third flight with this plane. I even forgot to open the cowl flaps a while ago during takeoff. Okay, zoom in here. Oh, not that one. Here, zoom in. Oh, maybe we can see some sights here on the right at least. Because there should be another airport here, and that's the one. Plenty of airports in this area. I think 3 of them. That is our runway. 05 left. Actually have the runway inside. Cool. This is a very nice area, huh? Okinawa.
Bonanza 1 Charlie Lima, descend and maintain 5,000 feet. QNH is 1009 at Kadena.
Whoa, look at that lightning. Can I see it? Wow. Descend and maintain 5,000 feet. Bonanza 1 Charlie Lima.
Bonanza 1 Charlie Lima, radar contact.
Okay. So let's VS it down to 1,500 feet per minute. Dial down on the throttle so we don't overspeed. But that looks pretty good. And we can actually intercept the localizer already at this point. But yeah, it's so sad that we can't even set the approach here. I'm going to try one more time. Yeah, supposedly there should be like a drop down here to pick the approach. I think that doesn't work if you don't have an arrival or something along those lines. Buggy stuff. Okay.
Bonanza 1 Charlie Lima descend and maintain 3,000 feet.
Okay, continue our descent. Descend and maintain 3,000 feet, Bonanza 1 Charlie Lima. So that's one
Bonanza 1
airport.
Charlie Lima cleared for ILS to
That's
runway
one.
05
That's
left,
one.
fly heading 068 to intercept final descent and maintain 2,200 feet. Bonanza 1 Charlie Lima maintain 2,200 feet.
Cleared for the ILS approach, runway 05, descend and maintain 2,200 feet. Bonanza 1 Charlie Lima.
Bonanza 1 Charlie Lima altitude is 2,200 feet.
Yes. He gave me late instructions, so now I'll have to catch up. But now, since we've been cleared for the ILS approach, I should be able to hit nav mode here. And the plane should be following, at least, the localizer. So we should be lining up against the runway completely.
Bonanza 1 Charlie Lima QNH is 1009er at gating out of contact tower on 134.1. Good
Oh, we
day.
got the right frequency. Nice. QNH 1009er, tower 134.1, Bonanza 1 Charlie Lima.
Bonanza 1 Charlie Lima tower frequency is 1.
Yep. Gear up. Don't worry, we'll get there. Okay. Tower Bonanza 1 Charlie Lima, inbound ILS approach, runway 05. Come on. Bonanza 1 Charlie Lima, inbound for the ILS approach, runway 05.
Bonanza 1 Charlie Lima, good morning. Radar contact. Continue ILS to runway call when established on final.
Approach. Alright, now we've captured the glide slope. Nice. And you can see the ball, the FPA, is it? It's right smack centering on the runway right there. So that's what the autopilot is doing. Pretty smart, right? Bonanza 1 Charlie Lima established on the ILS.
Bonanza 1 Charlie Lima winds are 014 at 7 knots, cleared to land runway.
Cleared to land runway 05, Bonanza 1 Charlie Lima. Full. Mixture to full. Let's put our landing gear down. Oh, let's not forget the lights, otherwise OnAir will penalize me. Turn on the taxi lights as well. That looks good. Actually, on a clear day like this, you don't really need an ILS. You can do a visual, but just to test our instruments. We have some pretty crosswinds here. 23 knots, my goodness. Hopefully that gets better when we go lower, as we go lower. Okay, just speeding it up here. I have not even gone flaps one notch because we are slowing down so much already. Look at did you see that lightning ahead of us? Goodness, that's scary. There we go, that's the right angle. A while ago I was slowing down too much already. The plane was being forced to pitch up. A bit of a crosswind approach on a plane that I'm not really used to flying. Good job. At least we have some nice looking water down below. So when you have some pretty strong winds, at least you have nice water effects. That's a good consolation prize. Okay. Going one notch of flaps. It's good. We are within the safe extension for the second notch of flaps for landing. So we'll do that, and the approach speed is going to be 80 knots for this plane. 80. Right. Disconnect the autopilot. We're on our own. Get a feel for the plane. Man, this place looks beautiful. We'll have to fly around here more in the near future. Look how useful that is, that ball on the PFD. So because we have such a crosswind approach here, I'm just going to align that ball. Even if I don't look outside, if I just align that, like so, aligning that ball on the runway, I should be landing right there. It's very handy. I am pretty low though. Let's catch up to it a bit. But yeah, I do want to see it visually. And yes, we are pretty low here, my bad. Keep that angle, there we go. 80 knots is our approach speed, so I can afford to bleed off some more energy here. Where's our FPA? It's gone. I think it got buried in the runway. Oh, there it is. But yeah, don't rely on that too much. It's a good tool, but over-reliance can be a bit sketchy. Too low. Right, doing a side slip, so right rudder so that we are facing the runway, and then left aileron to counter the effect. Good. Right, just slow it down, slow it down, slow it down, like so.
Landing time logged.
Oh,
Landed at Romeo Oscar Delta November.
not the smoothest, but I'll take it. It's a good first try. Alright, I think we can turn off here. Whew. Is this even a taxiway? Yeah, it should be, I think. Clear of the active TBM. Oops, Bonanza 1 Charlie Lima.
Aircraft calling tower, say again with your call sign.
Clear of active Bonanza 1 Charlie Lima.
Aircraft calling tower, say again with your call sign.
They don't get us. Let's close that. Let's get to the terminal, wherever that is. Turn off the landing lights. Let's clean up the plane. Flaps up. Man, this doesn't look like an airport anymore. This looks like a normal road in a village. Yeah, houses on the side. Interesting. Yeah, this is not a handcrafted airport, I don't think. So maybe some inaccuracies here. Because by the looks of it, this airport should have some pretty unique buildings in there. Some interesting ramps maybe. If you guys are familiar with this airport, let me know. We'll just park it up here. Okay. In the middle of nowhere. Well, I'll take it. Wherever is fine. So next episode we can do a sightseeing tour here. Oh, that lightning. A bit excessive, but I do like the effect. Good. Looking good indeed. Okay. Let's turn off the avionics, air conditioner. And that should be okay.
Engine off time logged. End of flight. Registered in OnAir company.
There we go. Oh, I still have strobes on. Hopefully that wasn't a minus. There we go. Well, that's one flight on the Bonanza. Ah, crap. Yeah, at the end of it, I still missed something. Well, hopefully we get that better next time. It's a learning process. So at the result of it, I got a minus 0.01 at the very end of the flight. So we didn't get the safety bonus. Man, that's fine. It was a minimal XP anyway. So next episode, we'll be doing a flight here. Probably no jobs here, but yeah, in terms of the on-air update, there have been some improvements. This is where we are, in the middle of some small islands here. Very interesting stuff. And I actually have 2 employees now, and I was able to buy a Grand Caravan and a Bonanza. So we have 4 planes in total now, with 3 pilots working. Right, so yeah, things are taking shape. Anyway, thank you for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed that one. Look forward to more Bonanza episodes, more visual flights. I do love those ones. Alright, anyway, thank you for watching, and catch you in the next one. Clumsy flying, guys, and bye-bye.